welcome to episode 43 of Fluffy Fibres, the French podcast in English on sewing, knitting, spinning and living green, all of course with the occasional help of the kitchen of the house. Hello everyone, and thank you so very much for joining me today. Welcome to new viewers, and thank you so very much for checking out my podcast, and thank you very much to all of you who are returning viewers. My name is Isabelle, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Fluffy Fibres. The show notes for the podcast are on fluffyfibres.com. So, I do hope you're all doing really well. Today is Thursday, April the 21st, 2016. And it's been a good while since I last recorded, for a variety of reasons, really. Tisha? Mignon wants to be part of the show today. So for a variety of reasons, really, I don't really want to go much into it, but there's been lots of things. You can, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you've been aware of them. The major thing though is that I'm just increasingly tired, and just because I'm now in my third trimester, so of course I'm getting more tired, but also because my kidneys are getting tired as well, so I have to do extra visits at the hospital, which takes some time, and various things like that. But here I am today, very excited to be here today, and because it's been so long since I last recorded, I have a lot of things to share with you, especially as this week I've been completely on my own with Jit Mignon and the baby. Seb, my husband, is at a conference in the Netherlands for the whole week, and my daughter's on holiday this week, and so she's spending the week with her grandparents, my in-laws, about 1 hour from here. They rented a small place, so that she's happy and enjoying her grandparents as well. So it means I'm on my own, I'm working, but actually this week I've decided to start slowing down with my work, and so it means in the afternoons I mostly rest and craft, which is really nice. So I've been able to do a lot of things this week since I've been completely on my own. There hasn't been any, little child to take care of in the evenings and the mornings and that kind of thing. So it means I have loads to share. And so I've decided to split everything I had to share into 2 episodes. So this one, episode 43, is going to be to have all the events with the giveaway winners, and for the You Could Just Sew Along and the Fund and Fibre giveaway, but also all of my knitting and my spinning. And episode 44, which I'm hoping to record right next after this one and probably put out just a few days later, is going to be all about my sewing and my quilting, because that's the very exciting thing, is that I've finally started quilting, and I'm extremely excited about that. I have lots to share. So it means that today's segments are going to be a handmade wardrobe, events, a bit of knitting and a bit of spinning. So for a handmade wardrobe today, I am wearing a dress that I made yesterday, which is the Perfect Nursing Dress by Megan Nielsen, and I'll be talking about it, of course, in my next episode, episode 44. I'm going to just change the frame a little bit so that you can see it better. So there you go. This is it used to be the Perfect Nursing top, and this is the pattern I have. And it's now the Amber Nursing Dress and Top, and it is by Megan Williams. It is a nursing dress. Because it's got this nursing panel underneath, which is really handy. But it does work as a maternity dress, as you can see, because of the in-pie waist, the fact that it's in a knit fabric, and the box pleats at the waist. So yes, I know this will follow me all of summer and I will be wearing in tons. I'll be talking more about this in episode 44, which is due soon after this one. And on top of it, I'm wearing the Love's Promise cardigan that I I finished last month actually, out of Dr. Zivaga's Sky colourway in the Madeline Tosh Pashmina. And the designer for this is Agata Mankiewicz, who is Amanita Knits on Instagram and I think just Amanita on Ravelry. She's a lovely person actually, on top of being a wonderful designer. I really love this. It is designed for a fingering weight yarn. And I absolutely love this cardigan with the little detail here all down the sides. So there you go. So there you go for my handmade wardrobe. No cup of tea today because I have an iron deficiency at the moment. So I'm drinking only 1 cup of green tea in the morning and then none, because I don't want it to interfere with my iron supplement. So yeah, never mind. So I'm just having a very plain glass of water. So for events today, and I'm sure many of you are eager to hear about that, we have the Cute Dress Sew Along prizes to announce and the winner for the Lavandula fondant fibre giveaway to announce as well. So first and foremost, I really wanted to heartily thank every one of you who took part in the Cute Dress Sew Along and for your enthusiasm, the wonderful spirit in which this just took place. Everyone was so inspiring but also so encouraging, you know, taking time to comment on each other's creations, and also we really had some discussions to help budding sewists on the way as well, which was lovely, and it was really what I was hoping this to be as well, to be a place for beginner garment sewists to get help and encouragement and motivation. And the thread, I do invite every one of you to go check out the FO thread on Ravelry for this, because it's so lovely to see all these cute dresses. And also I wanted to thank the lovely people who did participate in the chat thread, even though they didn't have time to participate. And so they did encourage others, and so that was really lovely. So thank you very much to you as well. So the grand prize for the Cute Dress Sew Along is a prize that is very generously made and donated by Shauna of Adelaide Cottage, the Adelaide Cottage Etsy shop and podcast, and she's such a lovely, talented, inspiring person. And so Shauna made a project bag, a very large project bag with a sewing theme in the prints that she chose. So it's super cute. I'll be sharing another picture here. And she also is including, along with it, a pattern of one of my favourite spring patterns, dress patterns, which is a New Look pattern. I think it's New Look 6557 if I recall, but I won't, don't take my word for it. Yes, it is, actually I have it in my show notes, yes, 6557. So thank you so much, Shauna, for giving this, and also Shauna is generous enough to be sending it directly to the winner, so that's wonderful, because it means it saves me from having to ship this out. So thank you so much, Shauna. So this is going to Winter Stitches, who is Christina from San Jose in California. So congratulations, Christina. Then we have 2 copies of my Verdure shawl, which I will share a picture here, which is a shawl I designed about a year ago actually, which is very spring-like, so I thought it was fitting to offer it as a prize here. And so the first winner is post number 2, who is Too Short For You. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And number 17, who is Asteride. And so, yes, congratulations to you both. And lastly, and so all of these were chosen by random.org. But for the last prize, which is the winner's choice of pattern on Ravelry up to the value of €8, I decided to pick the winner for this and to give this prize to Nimpin, who is Naomi, and she's Nimpin on Ravelry and Instagram, because she's the one who was the most active in the sew-along all through the sew-along. She posted so much in the threads on Instagram, and she made 9 dresses, if you can imagine. And she has such an incredibly adorable style as well. So I know she's been very inspiring to each and every one of us. So I just wanted to acknowledge her presence in this sew-along, because the sew-along definitely wouldn't have been the same without her. So thank you, Naoms, and congratulations on winning this. So all of the winners, please do contact me by PM on Ravelry to claim your prizes, so that I can arrange for them to be delivered to you either electronically or physically, obviously. Lastly, for the fondant fibre giveaway, which is a giveaway for this gorgeous, well, this is mine, yours is safely tucked away, but for a gorgeous braid, 120 grams braid of Lavandula, and it is this gorgeous blend of Swellsdale, Massum and silk in natural shade of grey and shot with lavender, really. So this was very generously donated by Deb at Fondant Fibre, who is just such a wonderful hand dyer and person. And so this is going to Post 67, who was Lingua Franca. So congratulations on winning this. Hope you enjoy it, and do get in touch as well. Just a quick note, I will be away next week on holidays, which is very exciting. And I will have 0 internet connection. So I will only get back in touch with you, get back to you the next weekend, which is the first weekend in May. So don't fret, don't worry if I don't get back to you immediately regarding the prizes. So there you go. So now for a bit of knitting. First of all, for a bit of knitting, and this is actually in between events and a bit of knitting, I finally finished writing out the pattern for the My Cup of Tea fingerless mitts, which you can see here, which I adapted from the My Cup of Tea socks by Robin Lynn, who is a lovely person and very kindly shared her chart with me and her notes to allow me to write up the pattern. So this is now a free pattern on Ravelry, and the history behind this pattern is this yarn is the Wool Barn Goldie Socks in the Enchanted colourway, which I absolutely adore. And as I was knitting the socks, I just realised I just couldn't use these as socks. The yarn was just too precious to me. So I decided to make fingerless mitts instead, and so the rest is history. So it has a gusset for the thumb, but it's a very easy pattern. It uses less than 50 grams. Mine use between 40 and 41 grams of yarn. So it's a great way to use up your remnants. If you're like me and you have quite a bit of yarn left over when you knit socks, that would be a great way. Or if you knit ankle socks and have an extra 50 grams left in your ball, that would be a great way to use that up as well. So this is a free design on Ravelry at the moment, and these are a gift for my sister, my older sister. So now that I have finally showed them on the podcast, I'm going to send them away probably today, because her birthday is next week. So yeah. So yes, just look for My Cup of Tea fingerless mitts on, I think it's even My Cup of Tea mitts on Ravelry, and you can download them for free. That was really a way for me to as well, just to thank all of you who've been so kind and encouraging in the podcast and on Instagram, and yeah. So I finished 3 things and I have only 1 whip. So my first finished object I can't show you because it's in Paris with my nephew at the moment. And I mentioned this last time, it's the Hippo by Susan B. Anderson. I will be, of course, sharing pictures as I talk. And I knit this out of Cascade 200 heathers, sateen and summer sky heathers. Sateen for the dark blue and summer sky heathers for the paws and the inside of the ears. And that was my first time knitting a truly elaborate toy. And I'm truly happy with the results. The pattern is really well written. The only thing I did differently is Susan has us sew the limbs, knit the limbs separately and then sew them on. But in one of the projects I saw that someone who is Topazzi had knit the limbs directly onto the body. So cast them on directly onto the body, and that's what I did as well to make, I think, a smoother finish, I guess. So yes, that was my first involved toy, and it's with my nephew because my nephew had major surgery, open heart surgery, 10 days ago, which went well. We were super anxious for a week, really, and the only problem is that he's going through post-surgery complications at the moment, so it's a bit nerve-wracking, really, because he might have to undergo surgery to fix that problem, so we really don't want that. So we'll know for sure tomorrow morning. So I'm thinking of him and his parents all the time. It's just the hardest thing ever, isn't it? I mean, he's 20-month-old, and this was a very scary operation where they had to stop his heart and have his blood circulate outside of his body to operate on his heart, really. And so yeah, we really hope they won't have to do surgery another time, but we'll see. But yeah, I know my brother really liked the Hippo, and it was with him at the hospital, so that's nice. So yeah, I also finished my Ambrosia sweater that I showed you last time, and last time I showed this to you, I think I'd only just cast on the bottom band. And it's a pattern by Gudrun Johnston, and I was inspired to knit this by both Susan B. Anderson, who knit a purple version of it about a year ago, and Tilly of Tilly Trout podcast, who, Tilly, you haven't podcasted in ages, and I really miss you. I really do hope you're fine, and you're just really busy. But yeah, they both inspired me. Susan inspired me to knit this, and Tilly knit this out of Eco Plus by Cascade, which is also what I did. It's a very reasonable alternative, and yeah, I really like this yarn. It's super warm and it's very woolly as well. So my colourway is, I didn't write this out, I think it's Purple Jewel Heather. So it's a very deep purple, as you can see. And the only thing is, to me and to many other people, Eco Plus, even though it is classified as bulky in Ravelry, is not really a bulky weight, it's really an Aran weight. And there was no way I could get a satisfactory gauge. I mean, the gauge when I knit to gauge, it was way too airy. And so, for the first time, I completely rewrote the numbers in the pattern. I went down several needle sizes. I knit this on 6.5mm needles, which I think is a size 10, and this is supposed to be knit on 8mm needles, and I usually hit gauge when I use the actual needles in the pattern, so I did hit gauge with the 8mm needles, but the fabric was way too airy. So I completely rewrote all the numbers, so I actually converted this bulky weight cardigan into an Aran weight cardigan, if that makes any sense. And I'm really glad I did. I was inspired to do that by Jenny of the Tiny Paper Foxes podcast, because she does that all the time. I'm really glad I did, because it worked out just fine. It's really the size I wanted it to be, and I knit it longer. I knit the sleeves longer as well, because I really wanted a jacket more than a cardigan, so it hits me at mid-thigh really, you know, and I wanted the sleeves to be extra long and just very cozy. I also knit the hood longer because it didn't seem really big on the pictures, and actually a lot of people remark on this as a positive thing in the projects because they don't like a big hood. But as you know, I have a lot of hair, and when it's up, which it is when I'm wearing a hoodie, it takes up a lot of room. So I need, my hoods are always too small, so I wanted it to be extra long. So I added, I can't remember, I think I wrote it in my project page, but I added, I think, a good 5 centimeters at least to the length before I grafted the top. So yes, it's a bottom-up cardigan with this beautiful honeycomb stitch at the yoke, which is really gorgeous. And then you cast off, you add on the hood, and then you have this buttonhole band and button band all around in garter stitch, and you're done. I really wanted to add pockets like Susan did, but I almost used all of my yarn. I really am left with very, very little of my 2 skeins of Eco Plus, and these are massive skeins, as you probably know. Just one aside, completely unrelated, but there are a lot of works in the neighbourhood at the moment. Very, very intensive road works, and you can probably hear them. At the moment there isn't, but you can probably hear the drilling. I do apologise, and I do hope it won't be too much of an inconvenience, but that's the best I can do. And the reason why, I didn't even explain why I'm podcasting from this place. The reason why I'm podcasting from here is because I'm on my own this week. I'm not going into my sewing room because I'm really avoiding going into it, because it's up a flight of stairs that is very steep, and it's stone stairs, and when I record, it involves, of course, you know, when I get ready for recording, it involves many trips up and down the stairs to gather everything up and then put back everything into its place once I'm done podcasting. And I just didn't want to run the risk of going up and down so many times when I was on my own in the flat, because obviously my gravity centre has drastically changed these past few months. And so, yes. So, what else did I want to tell you about this? As you can probably see, the only thing lacking is the button. It's blocked, ends woven in, and the only thing lacking is the buttons, and that is because I was unable to find the right buttons locally. So I just received them. I ordered them online, I just received them, and I got these wooden horn-shaped buttons, I guess you'd say. So yes, I just received them, so I'm going to add them on. And the point for me was to be done with this by the time we went to our holidays next week. I finished this on April the 11th. I blocked this on April the 11th, so it's been done a while, for 10 days actually. So it really was a relatively fast knit. That's also because I've been very monogamous in my knitting this past few weeks, and because I wanted things to get done. The main reason for this is, well, I have very definite goals for each of my projects at the moment, so I really wanted this to be done before we went on holidays. And then for the next few projects that I'm going to share, these are baby knits. And because I'm starting to have signs that, my kidneys are starting to get tired, I'm just anticipating the possibility of having to be induced earlier. So I just want everything to be ready, really. And so I've been really concentrating on getting the things that I really wanted to be done before the baby came. And so I've been very focused on my knitting, if you see what I mean. The first one is this baby romper that I don't think I started on it last time I recorded, actually. And this is the Small Things Baby Romper by Karina Spencer. I added some cute teddy bear buttons. Yeah, I'm not sure it's focusing at all, I'm sorry. So I knit that out of organic cotton. We both like, Seb and I, for the very first few months, anything that's going to be close to the baby skin, we like to be organic as much as possible, because then there isn't any toxic things in the dye or in the, no pesticides. And so this is Plassard Coton Bio, and this is actually very deep stash. This actually, this was my first Mother's Day gift ever. So when my daughter was just born, so 4 years ago, Seb went to our local yarn shop and he gave me 8 balls of this organic cotton. Yeah, and I never used it, but I thought it was a great opportunity to use it up. So this used 4 balls of it, because this is a sports weight yarn, and this little romper is supposed to be knit in Aran weight yarn, so I held the yarn double to knit it. So it did take quite a bit of yarn. And so this is really cute, a very cute crossover romper. I did some, you have a variety of styles for the legs and arms, and I did what Karina Spencer calls the Grow With Me tapered legs and arms with a ribbed cuff. So in fact, this is, at the beginning you wear this folded up, and this is a 3-month size actually. You wear it folded up so that you can then, can really grow for several months with the baby. And I actually knit one of these for my daughter. So here's the one I made for my daughter, and this was the newborn size. And I remember when I made this, I thought it would be completely, it was really a treat to myself, and it would not be very useful at all, because it doesn't open at the legs, so it's not very handy for when you change your baby. But as it turned out, this was our most worn hand knit that I made her, because it's so comfy, because it's knit, and also in fact because it stretches so much. It was very easy to put the baby in and out, well, out and in again of this for diaper changes, nappy changes. So actually we loved this to bits. and I had her wear it for even though when it was too short. I think it lasted about 6 weeks. By 6 weeks it was too short. So that's why this time I knit the ribbed cuffs. And so this is the 3-month size, and it's so much bigger. And it looks really big to me. So I'm not sure my baby will be able to wear this at the beginning. As you can see. And this is with the ribbed, the cuffs, you know, folded up. So I let you imagine, and also in width as well. It's so, look at the difference. And I noticed something really interesting when knitting this, is that how much my gauge has changed. When I knit this one, it was 4 years ago, and I was a truly budding knitter. I started knitting in 2011, and my daughter was born in February 2012. So all the baby knits I made for her were really among my first hand knits ever. And I knit this to hip gauge. I had to use 6mm needles, and for this I used 5mm needles. And I still think the gauge is a little looser on this one than on this one. So it's very interesting to see how gauge changes with time. And so when I was done with this one, because I realised it was pretty big and I'm not sure if we'll be able to wear this straight away, I cast on another one. And again from Deep Stash, same year, 2012, I cast on another one in the newborn size. And I cast on, because it's the second time I'm knitting this in a row, I'm going really fast with this one. It's a pretty involved knit, to be honest, because it's a very, very ingenious one as well. The way the cast on is done, I really recommend this to any one of you who wants to make a baby knit. It's super useful, it's super precious, and it's a very precious gift, I think. It's, you know, if you want to do something else from the usual cardigan, it's a great one. It's a great one to make, I think. And so you have this very nifty cast on, and this very beautiful detail of the slip stitches at the front, you know, separating the button band, well, not the button, the band from the body. And then you have these 2 buttons crossing. And you know, the very handy thing is it really holds well, but because you only have 2 buttons, it's very easy to open up and to undress your baby and dress him back again in that. So it's a very, very well written pattern, very detailed. It is quite a bit of work, but I love it. I really love it. It's so worth it. And as I said, the next one, I think I cast this on, I think that last week, about a week ago, really. And I already finished the whole body and the 2 legs, and I'm on the first sleeve. I started the first sleeve yesterday evening. So yes, and this is also in Plesseur Coton Bio, but it's in the linen colorway, which I am so in love with. I just absolutely love this kind of neutral shade for babies. And it's very luminous, very, very nice. It's such a soft cotton as well, this organic cotton, because it's not mercerized cotton. And I find very often organic cotton is so soft. And so this really is super squishy and soft, and it's going to be very comfortable for the baby. So yes, I'm knitting this second one. I would love to knit a third, but I don't have any organic yarn left, and I went to my local yarn shop and they don't have it. None of the yarn shops in Montpellier carry this organic yarn anymore. So I have 2 choices. Either I order the Fonty organic cotton, which is coton nat, and it's even better than this one because even the dyes are natural dyes, plant dyes. But I would have to order it online. Or I could go with Debbie Bliss Eco Baby, which is another organic cotton, but not with natural dyes. And I know a local yarn shop carries it here in Montpellier. So I'm not sure. I'll have to finish this first and then I'll see. I would love... I just think I would love my baby to be wearing this kind of thing non-stop really at the beginning, because it's just so comfortable and so special, and I know he won't be wearing all of the little hand-knit cardigans that I made my daughter because it's going to be so hot, so that would be a way for him to wear my hand-knits. So we'll see how that goes. I might need a break though after this one from knitting baby rumpus, and I might need to knit something else. So that is it for all my works in progress. I do have, when I went to my local yarn shop to look for buttons, which I didn't find, and so I got them online, and to look for the Plessard Bio, I did make a tiny purchase, and I'll be talking about my stash just after that. I succumbed to the Gumi 50 craze that is currently going on in Instagram and in podcast land, and so I got my local yarn shop didn't have the Gumi 50, didn't used to carry it, so I did order a bunch of it to give as gifts to friends to send out to the UK and to the US, and so I was able to see them. I ordered them directly from the website Bergère de France, and I was able to see lots of colours, and I really liked it. I really liked it very much. I really love the beige that everyone loves as well. But I was good, and I sent all the yarn away because that was the point really. I really got that yarn for friends. But then when I was in my local yarn shop last week, last Saturday I think I was, they had three balls of Gumi 50, and if you know this yarn, you know why this is ridiculous, because this is a 50-gram ball, so 3 balls doesn't make much sense, does it, in terms of sock knitting? So they had the 2 balls of the pink imprimé rose. When they say imprime here, it actually means it's short for imprimé, which is print, which means print really. So this one is imprimé azur, azur of course meaning azure sky. So they had the imprimé rose, which was quite nice, and they had 1 ball of this. And I really liked it. I really fell in love with it, with the subtle colours, and trying to get the camera to focus. It's not doing a really good job of this today, I'm afraid. Yeah, I think that's better. I really like the subtle shades in this. And I've been wanting to knit ankle socks, you know, the Rose City Rallies, for a while, and I was especially inspired by Danny's latest podcast, and she's been knitting short socks for her lovely mum, and so when I saw that, I thought that was just fate, just 1 ball, and it feels so reasonable because it's 50 grams, it's 200 meters, 215 meters, so that's a pretty thin fingering weight actually. But yeah, I just felt that was a reasonable entry into the stash. This was €4.50. And this leads me to something I've been meaning to mention for a while, which is Zinu's Take Charge of Your Stash Challenge. So Zina is the host, the lovely host behind Little Yellow Uke Crafts podcast, which is one of my absolute favourite podcasts ever. It's one I never ever miss when it goes out, and at the moment she's managing to podcast every single week, which is such a treat, and I'm so grateful, Zina, to you for managing to put out a podcast every week. And her podcasts are also on the shorter side, which I really like. And that's why I want to split this episode into 2 episodes. I find myself, I will more easily start watching a podcast that is under an hour. It's more manageable, really. And she's super inspiring, really. And she podcasts every Sunday, so I look forward to her podcast every Sunday afternoon or evening. And so her Take Charge of Your Stash challenge has been hugely inspiring to me. She started doing this at the beginning of 2016. And basically, she's just counting very accurately every single gram of stash of yarn that goes into her stash, and also counting every single gram that she knits or that she sends away as gifts. And I'd been meaning to do that as well for this year, and I finally started my, created an Excel file for this, and put in all the stash that I either purchased or was gifted in 2016 on one sheet of the spreadsheet, if you want. And then on another sheet of the spreadsheet, I tallied all the things that I'd knit, and I weighed every single thing to make sure my tally was accurate. And so my total in for 2016 is 1,300 grams, and this includes gifts as well. And if I don't include gifts, it's 950 grams. So that gives you an idea of how generous my friends have been since the beginning of the year. But I'd rather count the gifts in, because to me, and I really like the way she phrased this. She phrased it. It's take control of your stash, take charge, and to me it's control, and it has to do with my own serenity theme for the year. I feel more serene when I know I have my stash under control, if you want, and it's got a definite goal, and I'm not going to fret about getting things, but I do want to use what I have, because I have lovely things. And so I do want to count gifts in this as well. And out this year I've knit 1,669 grams. So that's great, because it means I've actually my tally is minus 369 grams. So I'm actually 369 grams out, and I will soon be out of another good quantity with the little romper that I'm about to finish. So that's wonderful. So yeah, that's really great. I'm very happy about that. And it's really something I've been striving to do this year, is not rush, and whenever I want to start a project, not rush and get whatever yarn I can get online, but really make my stash work. I think that might be the way I phrase it. I phrase my challenge is make my stash work. For instance, for my little nephew, I used some Cascade that I had in deep stash. This is very, very deep stash. This is one of the oldest yarns I've ever had. And I didn't use it because this was so special, because it was a gift from Seb. It was still wrapped in the the plastic gift wrap that he gifted it to me. And I told him, I mentioned this to him, and to see if he would mind my using it for the baby. But he thought, like me, that it made perfect sense. So that's one thing. And yeah, usually speaking, I tend to think some of my stash is just too precious to use, which is completely ridiculous. So I'm really happy that I've been able to knit so much out of my stash this year, and everything I've bought this year has been with a very specific pattern in mind, which is great. So yes, thank you so much, Zena. I know other people are doing this. Katie of Insight number 23 is doing a similar thing as well. But it's just so empowering, I think, to take charge of your stash. So for a bit of spinning, I finished spinning all of my minis for my baby's blanket. So I want to knit the pop blanket, which is designed by Tin Can Knits, and it has coloured circles at the centre, and then it circles into a square of a neutral background. And so for the background, I have this absolutely glorious yarn by Dererum Natura, which is a French company, which I really, really love. And it is their Cyrano yarn. There you go. So Cyrano Laine Mérinos Cardée, which means it's woolen spun. And it's French merino. So French merino mixed with, Portuguese merino. It's the same mill that makes this and the Fado yarn that I used for Seb's sweater at the end of last year. So super natural yarn, local, that it's spinned locally as well, and has a great policy to support the shepherds and all the people working at the mill as well. And it's super, super soft. So this is an Aran weight, and it's undyed. It's the Sel, so salt colourway. So I don't think there is any Portuguese merino in there, since the Portuguese merino is black. So that's what they used to do the darker shades. So this has Mako Mérinos, which is merino from Provence, and Mérinos d'Arles, which is a nearby town in the south of France as well. So this is the background yarn, and then I can't remember all of those I spun. I know I spun all of the sparkly ones since last time, which are from, so I'm using all British yarns, lots of yarns of samples from Hilltop Cloud. So Hilltop Cloud, Katie, has, I love her site, I love what she makes with fibre. The way she sources her fibre, and it's just amazing what she makes, what she does. And so I got a couple of sample packs from her. This is one, the Salid sample pack. So you have 20-gram samples, 8 20-gram samples in there. And I'm not sure if you can read, but it's 2.5% Shetland, 25% BFL, 45% Merino, 12.5% Soil Silk, and 5% Angelina. So it is definitely sparkly. I absolutely love this one, and this gave me a new appreciation for yellow. I never ever knit or sew or spin with yellow. It's the only yellow I have, really, and that's because it came from a sample pack, and it made me so happy to spin this. I really want to get some more yellow now. And actually I wish I had another one to add another pop of yellow in the blanket. Maybe a lighter one? That I don't. I really rummaged through my fibre stash. I have nothing in yellow. So you can see definitely the sparkle in there. So there's this one, there's the green, a lovely green one, light green. I spun this one yesterday actually. And then super fun corally one. And I'm spinning this, as you can see, pretty thick. It's the thickest I've ever spun, which does require quite a bit of concentration, because I typically spin I typically spin lace weight singles to go into a fingering weight 2-ply. So this definitely required a lot of focus on my part, so that I could, there you go, spin what I wanted. I'm very happy with this. It was a great exercise, very, very fun. I love how squishy and soft this is, and this is the best smell in the entire world, apart from baby smell though. But it's such a wonderful, warm, sheepy smell. So it's absolutely lovely. So these are, I know I spun these before, since I last showed you any handspun, but I have 20 minis, so they're all 20 gram. They're not really minis, are they? 20 grams is it's more than a fuzzling, for instance, or any sort of mini. The other ones that I have are either from Fondant Fibre or again from Hilltop Cloud. So let me see, and of course some of them I can't remember where they come from, if they're from one or the other. Typically the one from Hilltop Cloud are going to have more variety in the colours. These are from Fondant Fibre. I think this one as well. I have 6 from Fondant Fibre. Okay, I think these 4 are definitely from Fondant Fibre. And they're also a lovely, lovely blend. They were from her Harlequin Bites. Absolutely gorgeous. And then I have lots of very subtle shades from another pack, sample pack by Hilltop Cloud, which is the Hiraeth, and I'm completely butchering that pack. And so, no, this is Fondant Fibre as well. Absolutely gorgeous. But then you have much more, you have much more subtle shades here. This one is really gorgeous. So that is from Hilltop Cloud, Hiraeth sample pack. Can you see all the colours in there? It's just so lovely. Tans and bluish greys, and just absolutely gorgeous. This one as well is really gorgeous. I'm sure Kristen would love this one. It's lots of mauves and warmer colours as well in there. And then some darker ones. And I'm actually considering removing this one, because what I love about these is how subdued they all are. Really, they're very soft shades, apart from this one, which is very, very dark. Obviously it's a black. It's very strong in value as opposed to the others, and I'm afraid it will stand out in the blanket, so I may just leave this one aside and spin another one, because I have a couple more from the Salid sample pack. I have a blue one, but I do have a lot of blues. I only have one purple, so I might spin this one. Yeah. So the only thing now is my goal is to start this before we leave for the holidays, so that I can knit on this during our holidays next week. But it means I have to cake up all of this, and as I was saying this morning on Ravelry, it's super hard to be just taking these out of their lovely skein form. And that's the whole dilemma about spinning, isn't it? Is that it's a finished object in itself, So it's difficult to have it move from into something else. I know I will enjoy knitting on these, but yeah, I just love gazing at them in my living room in their little mini skein form. So there you go, that is it for this episode, so episode 43, and I'll be back very shortly for episode 44 for all of my sewing and quilting projects. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back very, very soon this time. So bye!